Certainly. Understanding different types of logo designs is essential for designers to effectively communicate a brand's identity. Let's explore the 7 common logo design types: work mark, letter mark, pictorial mark, abstract mark, mascot logo, combination mark, emblem logo, word mark. Also known as logotypes, word marks consist of the brand name or a custom typography treatment. They focus solely on typography to create a distinctive visual representation. Word marks are often used when the brand name itself carries significant recognition and impact. Letter mark. Similar to word marks, letter marks use initials or acronyms of a brand's name to create a compact and visually appealing logo. By focusing on specific letters, letter marks are effective in representing brands with long or complex names. They can be simple or stylized, depending on the desired brand image. Pictorial mark. Pictorial marks, also known as logo symbols or iconic logos, use a simplified graphic or pictorial representation to symbolize the brand. These logos often convey the brand's essence through a recognizable symbol, making them memorable and easily identifiable. Pictorial marks work well when the symbol alone can represent the brand effectively. Abstract mark. Abstract marks are non-representational symbols that don't depict any specific object or idea. They use unique shapes, lines, and colors to create a visually appealing and distinctive logo. Abstract marks allow for creative interpretation and can convey the brand's characteristics or values in a more artistic and abstract manner. Mascot logo. Mascot logos feature illustrated characters, often representing a brand's mascot or spokesperson. These logos can create a friendly and approachable brand persona, appealing to a specific target audience. Mascot logos are commonly used in sports teams, schools, or brands targeting a younger demographic. Combination mark. Combination marks combine text elements, word mark, or letter mark, with a symbol, pictorial, or abstract mark to create a complete logo. By using both text and a symbol, combination marks provide versatility and the opportunity to build brand recognition through various visual elements. This type of logo offers the best of both worlds, enabling brand name recognition and symbol association. Emblem logo. Emblem logos typically consist of a logo or symbol enclosed within a badge or emblem. They often have a traditional or vintage look, resembling seals or crests. Emblem logos are commonly used by organizations, schools, or government institutions to convey a sense of authority, history, or tradition. Understanding these logo design types helps designers choose the most appropriate approach for effectively communicating a brand's identity. By selecting the right type of logo design, designers can create a visually compelling representation that resonates with the target audience and accurately reflects the brand's essence. Now we go further to the next, which is the Gestalt principle. The Gestalt principle is not just a theory. It is the key to unlocking the power of visual perception. In the realm of logo design, it holds the secret to crafting a logo that captivates and resonates with its audience. By understanding and applying this principle, designers can create logos that transcend the ordinary and leave a lasting impact. When applied to logo design, the Gestalt principle demands a holistic approach. Every element within the logo must work together in perfect harmony to create a unified and cohesive design. It is through the careful orchestration of these elements that a logo becomes a visual masterpiece, capturing the essence of the brand and captivating the audience. To achieve this, designers employ various techniques rooted in the Gestalt principle. The principle is similarity, proximity, continuity, closure, and figure. Ground. After this, we will see the difference between each principle. A visual metaphor is a single graphic that encapsulates multiple meanings and conflates ideas. The metaphor's combination of separate elements creates compelling visual and mental shits. These interacting ideas work to inform and strengthen each other. At its most successful, the visual metaphor asks the viewer to look again. The Gestalt principle is a fundamental concept in design that emphasizes the importance of perception and how our minds interpret visual information. When it comes to logo design, understanding the Gestalt principle can help create a more effective and memorable logo. One way this is achieved is by using the principle of similarity, where similar elements are grouped together to create a cohesive design. This can be seen in logos such as Coca, Cola, and Google, where the use of similar colors and shapes create a unified and recognizable image. Next, we look at the sample of each Gestalt principle. The Gestalt principle of similarity states that objects that are similar in shade, orientation, shape, or color tend to be grouped together. For instance, if there are 3 alphabets and 1 triangle somewhere in the middle of the alphabet that make up a logo, one tends to read the 3 alphabets as the entire writing without considering the shape as a part of it. The shape could be a triangle, which represents an A. That A would be necessary for forming a full and correct word. The MoCA, Museum of Contemporary Art, logo is a perfect example of this principle. It states that if a series of objects, like lines, are put together, we perceive the objects that are more proximal to each other as a group. A popular logo that uses the principle is the logo of IBM. Despite the fact that the entire logo is made of long horizontal lines, it is easier to see I, B, and M as individual characters, in spite of the fact that the alphabets are seen in a vertical form. Continuity principle states that if a curve or line segment has an alignment, it is usually considered part of a continuous whole. Most people conform to this principle and would rather hold that it is an incomplete alphabet or shape. It holds that when the human mind sees a figure that seems loose or not fully closed, we have a tendency to close it up in our imagination. Many famous logos make use of this principle as a way of standing out. It holds that when the human mind sees a figure that seems loose or not fully closed, we have a tendency to close it up in our imagination. Many famous logos make use of this principle as a way of standing out. We are familiar with the shape of the L and expect it in the letter sequence in Fig. 17. We fill in the missing L information but simultaneously perceive the white circle. This is perhaps the most effective use of the law of closure, allowing the viewer to perceive not one familiar form, but 2 as the result of graphic suggestion. The figure. Ground principle states that when a smaller shape is surrounded by a larger uniform area, we perceive the smaller object to be in front and have the border. This effect is used to create depth for a simple logo, such that there is a deep illusion created as long as the surface is uniform. When next you see a logo with a small text and a uniform area, check, and you'll find out that the text, which is smaller, or whatever the object is, will always appear in front and will sure seem to have the border. The E and the X forms have been perfectly modified in Kern to create an arrow in the white space between in Fig 20. The visual language of the arrow in the physical space it occupies directly echoes that of the letter forms. The result is an ambiguously engaging figure, ground relationship. The logo design process is a creative journey that involves several stages. This process requires patience, skill, and attention to detail to create a logo that effectively communicates the brand's identity. It can be divided into several processes, which is idea development, semi-comprehensive, comprehensive, and final. The conclusion is it takes all together in graphic design. There are many ways to capture the audience's attention. The audience can be arrested by bold imagery, startling use of color, or elegant photography. The best way to win time for a message is to offer something that intrigues you. Then, the recipient is seduced into making a commitment. Someone who is intrigued will stay with the item until curiosity is satisfied. The audience becomes captive. When the ideas are finally connected in a moment of salience, an insight is born. The best logos present this visual puzzle that, once solved, results in a smile from the viewer and an indelible memory.